Why is Iran, known as ancient Persia, so pivotal in biblical prophecy and history? From its origins in Genesis to its prophesied destiny in Revelation, this video unveils God's incredible plan for Persia, from being an empire of redemption to its role in the end times. Witness how the Bible threads Iran's past, present, and future into a story more relevant today than ever before. Close your eyes with me, won't you, and let your breath soften. Imagine a whisper, ancient and vast, carried on the sands of time. Have you ever wondered if the very ground beneath our feet holds echoes of destinies foretold? Whispers of empires long gone, yet somehow still resonating? Tonight, we'll embark on a gentle journey, a hushed exploration into a land of old legends and sacred texts, a place once known as Persia, now called Iran. Let the sound of my voice be a soft current, guiding you through the veils of history, where the past and perhaps even the future intertwine in ways you might never have imagined. Feel the weight of the day drift away as we slip into the quiet corners of Scripture, listening for the lingering presence of this ancient power. Chapter 1. Whispers from the cradle of nations come closer now, and let the air around you grow still. Imagine the earliest days, the very dawning of humanity after the great flood receded. The book of Genesis, that foundational tapestry of our shared spiritual heritage, speaks of Noah and his sons, the progenitors of all the nations that would spread across the earth. Among these sons was Japheth, and from his lineage sprung forth tribes and peoples who would journey eastward. It is within this branch of humanity that we find the ancestors of those who would eventually coalesce into the Medes and the Persians. Can you feel the ancientness of this lineage, stretching back to the very of our world? Consider Madai, a son of Japheth. His name echoes through the corridors of time as the forefather of the Medes, a people who would rise to prominence in the lands east of Mesopotamia. Picture their early settlements, perhaps small nomadic bands at first, gradually finding their place upon the Iranian plateau. Imagine the vast, open landscapes, the wind carrying their whispers across the mountains and valleys. Can you almost hear the faint sounds of their early languages, the crackling of their fires under the immense starlit skies? Feel the gentle rhythm of their lives, so different from our own hurried existence, yet connected by the unbreakable thread of human ancestry. And then there was Elam, another descendant, whose name would be given to a region bordering Mesopotamia, a land of ancient cities and early civilizations. Elamites were among the first to establish a significant presence in this part of the world, their history stretching back millennia. Think of their early struggles and triumphs, the foundations they laid in the very soil of what would become a pivotal region in biblical history. Can you sense the weight of their early endeavors, the silent testament to their resilience? It is within this context, this early tapestry of nations unfurling, that the story of Persia begins to take its nascent form. These were not yet the mighty empire we will later encounter, but rather the foundational threads being spun into a complex and enduring fabric. Feel the quiet anticipation, the sense that even in these early chapters of human history, grand narratives were already beginning to unfold, narratives in which these seemingly distant peoples would play a significant, even divinely ordained role. Now, let your mind drift back to a pivotal moment recorded in Genesis, a conflict that serves as the Bible's first account of international warfare. 4 kings from the east, powerful rulers in their own right, marched upon the land of Canaan. Among these kings was Chedorlaomer of Elam. Can you picture this ancient military expedition, the dust rising from the hooves of their animals as they traversed the vast distances? Imagine the fear that must have rippled through the smaller kingdoms of Canaan as this formidable force approached. Their campaign was aimed at quelling a rebellion of 5 kings, who had been subject to them for 12 years. Lot, the nephew of Abraham, was living in Sodom at this time, and when the 4 eastern kings prevailed, they took him and his possessions as spoils of war. Picture the scene of devastation, the disruption of ordinary lives as these powerful empires clashed. Feel the uncertainty and fear of those caught in the middle of such conflicts. This event, seemingly a minor skirmish in the grand scheme of ancient history, holds a significant place in the biblical narrative because it drew Abraham into the conflict. Upon hearing of his nephew's capture, Abraham gathered his trained men, numbering 318, and pursued the victorious kings. Imagine the determination in Abraham's heart, his loyalty to his family driving him across the landscape. Feel the intensity of this pursuit, the quiet resolve of a man acting on principle. Under the cover of night, Abraham and his men strategically attacked the encampment of the 4 kings, routing them and recovering Lot and his possessions, as well as the other captives and goods. Can you visualize the surprise and chaos of this nighttime raid? The smaller force prevailing against the larger one through courage and divine favor? Feel the sense of relief and gratitude as Lot was rescued and returned to safety. This early interaction, where Elam played a role, is part of a force that clashed with those connected to the lineage of Abraham, foreshadows the complex and often intertwined relationship between this region and the people of God throughout biblical history. It's a reminder that even in the earliest times, the stage was being set for a grand drama involving nations and destinies. Feel the subtle threads connecting these ancient events to the larger narrative that will unfold. Let your breath grow even softer now as we consider this initial encounter. It wasn't the mighty Persian Empire yet, but rather the echoes of its ancestors, the early movements on a vast historical chessboard. It's a gentle reminder that even the most powerful empires have humble beginnings, and that the hand of providence often works in mysterious and unexpected ways, even in the midst of ancient conflicts. Allow this sense of deep time and interconnectedness to wash over you, a soothing balm for the busy mind. Chapter 2. The divine hand in the eastern wind now. Let your mind drift, settling into a tranquil awareness. Imagine a whisper, carried on the desert winds of ancient Babylon, a city of immense walls and towering ziggurats. Feel the weight of its power, its dominance over the known world. Yet, even in its golden splendor, a different kind of power was at play, a divine hand shaping events through unexpected vessels. This is where we encounter the profound pronouncements of the prophet Isaiah, a voice from centuries before, speaking with astonishing clarity about events that had not yet transpired. Can you feel the gentle chill of anticipation as we listen to these ancient predictions? Isaiah, known as the evangelical prophet for his detailed prophecies about the Messiah, also held within his prophetic gaze the fate of nations. He spoke of Babylon, that grand oppressor of God's people, and foretold its downfall. But who, you might wonder, would be the instrument of such a mighty empire's demise? This is where the ancient lands of Elam and Media re-enter our quiet narrative, not as adversaries of Abraham's kin, but as tools in the hands of the Almighty. Listen closely to the words that ripple through. Time from Isaiah 21-2. Go up, O Elam. Lay siege, O Media. All the sighing she has caused I have made to cease. Can you sense the stern resolve in these words? The divine decree being issued against a powerful kingdom? Imagine the scene. The mighty walls of Babylon, seemingly impregnable. Yet now, through the voice of a prophet, marked for destruction by forces from the east, feel the weight of this cosmic justice, slowly, inexorably, being brought to bear. This prophecy is extraordinary for its specificity. It named the very nations Elam and Media that would bring about Babylon's judgment. Think of the passage of time, generations unfolding, and yet the word of the prophet remained, a silent testament to a future event. It reminds us that even when human empires rise and fall with thunderous clamor, there is a quieter, more profound narrative at work, one guided by a higher purpose. Allow that thought to settle in your mind, a comforting assurance of an overarching plan. But Isaiah's prophecies did not stop there. His vision extended beyond mere conquest. It embraced a purpose of liberation. Babylon had utterly devastated Jerusalem, the holy city, and carried the people of Israel into exile. The cries of the captives, their longing for their homeland, resonated across the barren plains. And into this despair, Isaiah delivered another astonishing prophecy, one that would name a ruler centuries before his birth. In Isaiah 44-28 and 45-1, we hear these incredible words. It is I who says of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and he will perform all my desire. And he will say of Jerusalem, she will be built, and of the temple, your foundation will be laid. And then, thus says the Lord to Cyrus his anointed, whose right hand I have grasped to subdue nations, before him, and to loose the loins of kings, to open doors before him, so that gates will not be shut. Can you imagine the effect of these words, spoken centuries before Cyrus ever took a breath? Feel the profound mystery of a God who knows the end from the beginning, who orchestrates the rise and fall of kings for his divine purposes. Cyrus, the future king of Persia, was designated by God as his shepherd, the one who would fulfill his desire to restore Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. Consider the sheer audacity of this prophecy. A pagan king, not of Israelite descent, chosen by the God of Israel for such a sacred task. It highlights a recurring theme throughout biblical narrative. God uses whomever he chooses, often the unexpected, to accomplish his will. Allow that truth to resonate within you, a gentle reminder of the boundless nature of divine sovereignty. Imagine the quiet reverence of those who heard these words, or later, read them in the scrolls. They must have wondered how such a thing could come to pass. How could a king from a distant land be moved to release a captive people, and even facilitate the rebuilding of their holiest site? This is the essence of divine orchestration, a grand design unfolding across the canvas of human history, often unseen by those caught in the midst of it. Feel the subtle tremor of awe at such foresight. And so, as the centuries passed, the seeds of these prophecies lay dormant, waiting for the appointed time. The Medes and the Persians, once distinct peoples descended from Noah's sons, would eventually unite under one powerful leader. This unification, in itself, was a significant event, blending cultures and strengths to forge an empire unlike any before it. Feel the gentle merging of these ancient lines, coalescing into a single, formidable force. This merging, and the subsequent rise of Cyrus, was not merely a political or military phenomenon. From a biblical perspective, it was the meticulously planned unfolding of God's word. The empire that would become known as Medo-Persia was being prepared, silently and steadily, to fulfill the ancient decrees of prophets like Isaiah. It was a testament to the unerring accuracy of divine prophecy, a quiet reassurance that God's plans are always on schedule, even when they seem far off to human eyes. Allow your mind to absorb these profound connections, the way ancient prophecies gently guide us to understand the flow of history. Feel the comfort in knowing that even in the greatest turmoils of human empires, a higher purpose is being fulfilled. It's a soothing thought, isn't it, to consider that beneath the surface of chaos, there is an underlying order, a divine tapestry, being woven thread by thread. Are you ready to drift deeper into the story, to witness the quiet fulfillment of these grand predictions? Chapter 3. The King's Decree and the Dawn of Restoration. Close your eyes again, and let your breath deepen, becoming a soft, rhythmic lullaby. Imagine the vast, sun-drenched plains of Mesopotamia, stretching out before you like an endless canvas. Feel the subtle hum of a nascent empire, its power steadily growing, its influence spreading like a gentle tide across the ancient world. This is the stage upon which a remarkable prophecy, once just a whisper in the wind, is about to be gloriously fulfilled. The two ancient lines, the Medes and the Persians, descendants of those early patriarchal figures we spoke of, had for centuries existed as distinct, though often intertwined peoples. Picture them, if you will, as two great rivers, flowing separately yet always drawing closer, their eventual confluence destined to create a mighty, unstoppable current. Feel the quiet anticipation building, the sense of an inevitable, predestined merging. This unification found its ultimate expression in one extraordinary figure, Cyrus the Great. His name, as we gently noted earlier, was spoken by the prophet Isaiah centuries before his birth, a testament to a divine plan meticulously laid out across the expanse of time. Imagine Cyrus, not just as a conqueror, but as a sovereign chosen for a sacred task, a shepherd of God's will, even if he himself was unaware of the divine hand guiding his actions. Can you sense the quiet power, the profound significance of such a designation? Cyrus brought the kingdoms of Media and Persia together, forging them into a cohesive, powerful empire. He was a brilliant strategist, a shrewd diplomat, and a ruler known for his relative benevolence compared to the brutal empires that preceded him. Picture his armies, vast and disciplined, sweeping across the landscape. Yet it was not merely military might that defined him, but a remarkable wisdom that would shape the destiny of a captive people. Feel the quiet strength emanating from this ancient monarch, the pinnacle of his early conquests, and indeed a pivotal moment in biblical history, was the fall of Babylon. That great city, symbol of oppression and pride, which had enslaved the people of Judah, now faced its reckoning. According to historical accounts and biblical narratives, Cyrus's forces rerouted the Euphrates River, allowing them to march directly into the city through its dried riverbed, catching the Babylonians by surprise during a night of revelry. Imagine the stunned silence that must have fallen over the magnificent city as the Persian army quietly entered its supposedly impenetrable walls. Feel the subtle tremor of history shifting, the end of one era and the dawn of another. With Babylon conquered, the stage was now set for the astonishing fulfillment of Isaiah's prophecy. For decades, the people of Judah had languished in exile, their hearts longing for Jerusalem, their holy city, and the sacred temple that lay in ruins. They were a people dispossessed, carrying the weight of their past and the hope of a future. Restoration. Can you hear the faint echoes of their lamentations, their fervent prayers for deliverance? And then a decree, unlike any issued by previous conquerors, was proclaimed throughout the vast Persian Empire. The Cyrus cylinder, an ancient clay artifact now housed in the British Museum, records this very decree, a powerful testament to the historical accuracy of the biblical narrative. Feel the cool, smooth texture of that ancient clay in your mind's eye, a tangible link to a pivotal moment. The book of Ezra in the Old Testament beautifully captures the essence of this decree. Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, "The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has commanded me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Whoever there is among you of all his people, may his God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and rebuild the house of the Lord, the God of Israel. He is the God who is in Jerusalem. Imagine the sheer disbelief, then the overwhelming joy that must have swept through the Jewish exiles when they heard these words. After 70 years of captivity, the very king who had conquered their oppressors was now granting them not just freedom, but also the resources and permission to return and rebuild their temple. It was an act of profound grace, a testament to God's unwavering faithfulness to his covenant people, working through an unlikely instrument. Can you feel the wave of hope, the tears of gratitude, washing over those ancient souls? Cyrus even ordered that the holy vessels taken from the temple by Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, be returned to Jerusalem. He provided financial assistance and materials for the reconstruction, demonstrating a remarkable commitment to the task. Feel the quiet generosity, the unexpected kindness from a pagan king, fulfilling a divine mandate. And so, under the protection and patronage of the Persian Empire, a remnant of the Jewish exiles began their long journey back to their homeland. Picture their procession, slow and deliberate, filled with hope and trepidation, as they made their way across the ancient trade routes towards Jerusalem. Feel the dust beneath their feet, the anticipation in their hearts. This was more than just a return from exile. It was a spiritual restoration. It was the beginning of the rebuilding of a nation, the reestablishment of their spiritual center, and the quiet continuation of God's redemptive plan for humanity. The Persian Empire, through Cyrus, became the unlikely midwife of this profound restoration, a silent yet powerful instrument in the hands of the Almighty. Allow this deep sense of purpose to gently settle within you. A comforting thought about the unfolding of divine will dot the gentle murmur of this history. Carries a profound message that even the rise and fall of empires, the great movements of nations, can be orchestrated by a higher power for purposes that transcend human understanding. The story of Cyrus and the return from exile is a powerful reminder that prophecy is not merely a forgotten whisper from the past, but a living testament to a God who guides history toward his ultimate conclusion. Are you ready to journey further into the silent depths of prophetic vision? Chapter 4. The beasts and the ram's horns. Daniel's vision settle deeper into your comfort, allowing your mind to become a still lake, perfectly reflecting the quiet revelations of antiquity. Daniel, a captive in Babylon during the very exile we just spoke of, was not merely a survivor. He was a recipient of profound visions, glimpses into the tapestry of future empires, including the one that had allowed his people to return home. Can you feel the weight of such revelations? The quiet burden of knowing what is to come? One night, as Daniel lay in his bed, he saw a remarkable dream, a vision of 4 great beasts rising from the churning sea. This vision, recorded in Daniel chapter 7, is a sweeping panorama of world history, interpreted by an angelic guide. The first beast, like a lion with eagle's wings, represented Babylon. The third, a leopard with 4 wings and 4 heads, symbolized Greece. But it is the second beast that draws our gentle attention tonight. A bear, raised up on one side, with 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. Can you picture this lumbering, powerful creature emerging from the depths of the symbolic sea? This bear, as revealed by the angelic interpretation, was a representation of the Medo-Persian Empire. The detail of it being raised up on one side is particularly poignant, symbolizing the way the Persian component of the empire would eventually become more dominant than the Median. Imagine the subtle shifting of power, the silent ascendancy of one partner over another within a grand alliance. Feel the quiet wisdom embedded in such precise symbolic language. And what of the 3 ribs clutched within its teeth? These, we are told, signify the three major conquests that firmly established the Medo-Persian Empire's dominance. The first was Lydia, a powerful kingdom in Asia Minor, renowned for its wealth and its king, Croesus. Imagine the rich treasures of Lydia, now absorbed into the growing Persian sphere. Then came Babylon, the very empire that had held Daniel captive, whose fall we just explored. Its conquest marked a definitive turning point, not only politically but prophetically. Finally, Egypt, the ancient land of pharaohs, another formidable power, would also fall under Persian sway. Feel the quiet magnitude of these conquests, the expansion of an empire's reach across vast and diverse lands. These details, delivered through an ancient vision, provide an astonishingly accurate forecast of the Medo-Persian Empire's trajectory, centuries before its full rise. It's a testament to the intricate detail of divine foresight, a quiet reassurance that even the grand sweep of history is known and woven into a larger plan. Allow that thought to settle gently, like a soft blanket of understanding with Daniel's visions did not end there. In chapter 8, he received another powerful revelation, this time involving animals more familiar to the ancient world, a ram and a goat. Picture a majestic ram standing by a river with two horns. One horn grew up after the other, and the later one was taller than the first. Can you visualize this animal, poised and powerful, its horns hinting at a coming dominion? This ram with two horns, the angel explained, represented the kings of Media and Persia. The symbolism of the second horn growing up after the first and being taller perfectly depicts the historical reality we've just discussed. The Medes came first to prominence, but the Persians, under Cyrus, eventually eclipsed them in power and influence. Imagine the silent, subtle growth of that second horn, quietly surpassing the first, just as Persia rose above Media. Feel the elegance of this symbolic correspondence, the quiet harmony between prophecy and history. As Daniel watched, another creature appeared on the scene, a male goat with a prominent horn between its eyes. This goat came from the west, moving with incredible speed, not even touching the ground. It charged the ram, breaking its two horns and trampling it underfoot with immense fury. The ram was powerless to resist. Can you sense the sudden, dramatic shift in power, the swift and decisive triumph of one force over another? The angel revealed that this fierce goat represented the king of Greece, and the prominent horn between its eyes was Alexander the Great. This vision foretold the swift and overwhelming conquest of the mighty Medo-Persian Empire by Alexander's Hellenistic forces. Imagine the shock and awe of such a swift conquest, a world power crumbling before a younger, more agile force. Feel the quiet power of prediction, revealing even the speed and totality of future events. These visions, delivered to Daniel in ancient times, serve as a profound testament to the divine orchestrating of history. They reveal that the rise and fall of empires, the shifts in global power, are not merely random occurrences, but are woven into a grand, predetermined narrative. The Medo-Persian Empire, so instrumental in the restoration of Israel, was itself destined to rise, and then, in turn, to yield to another power. Allow these insights to drift through your mind like the gentle currents of a quiet river. Feel the peace that comes from understanding that even in the greatest upheavals of human history, there is a guiding hand, a grand design unfolding. This quiet assurance can be a soothing balm for the soul, a reminder that there is purpose in every era, known and foreseen from eternity. Are you ready to journey into another surprising chapter, where the destiny of Persia and the fate of God's people intertwine in a most personal and dramatic way? Chapter 5. The queen's courage and a nation's deliverance settle deeper into your calm, allowing the intricate details of this ancient narrative to gently paint themselves in your mind. The scene opens in the magnificent court of King Ahasuerus, often identified by historians as Xerxes I, a powerful ruler whose empire encompassed a staggering diversity of peoples and cultures. Picture the grandeur, the lavish feasts, the endless retinues of servants and nobles. Feel the subtle tension of life within such a powerful, yet often capricious world. King Ahasuerus, in his immense power, held a grand banquet. In a moment of impulsive desire, he commanded his queen, Vashti, to appear before his guests to display her beauty. But Queen Vashti, with a quiet dignity, refused. Her refusal, a rare act of defiance in such a setting, sent ripples through the court. Imagine the stunned silence, the murmurs that followed such an unexpected challenge to royal authority. Feel the delicate balance of power, poised on a single decision. Her refusal was deemed a threat to the authority of all husbands in the empire. And so, with the counsel of his advisors, King Ahasuerus deposed Vashti and sought a new queen. A vast search was initiated, bringing beautiful young women from across the empire to the palace. Imagine the bustling activity, the hopes and fears of countless hopefuls, all vying for the ultimate position. Feel the quiet anticipation, the sense of destiny hovering over these proceedings. Among these young women was a Jewish orphan named Esther, whose Hebrew name was Hadassah. She was raised by her cousin Mordecai, a devout and wise man who held a position at the king's gate. Mordecai had instructed Esther to keep her Jewish identity a secret, a quiet act of prudence in a foreign land. Picture Esther, her beauty remarkable, yet carrying within her a secret heritage, a hidden strength. Feel the delicate balance between outward appearance and inner truth. Esther found favor in the eyes of Hege, the eunuch in charge of the women, and eventually in the eyes of King Ahasuerus himself. Despite the multitude of beautiful women, it was Esther whom the king loved most, and he placed the royal crown upon her head, making her the new queen of Persia. Imagine the surprise, the quiet triumph of this humble orphan ascending to such an extraordinary position. Feel the quiet power of divine placement, a woman chosen for a time and purpose she could not yet fully comprehend. But beneath the surface of palace life, a sinister plot was brewing. A powerful and arrogant official named Haman rose to prominence in the king's court. He demanded that all the king's servants bow down to him, but Mordecai, out of reverence for God, refused. This act of defiance infuriated Haman, whose pride knew no bounds. Imagine Haman's simmering rage, his heart swelling with vengeful malice. Feel the quiet danger that such unchecked ego can unleash. Haman, consumed by his hatred for Mordecai, and by extension, for all of Mordecai's people, conceived a wicked plan. He sought to annihilate all the Jews throughout the vast Persian Empire. He cast lots, Purim, to determine the most auspicious day for this massacre. And then, with deceptive words, he convinced King Ahasuerus to issue a decree authorizing the complete destruction of the Jewish people on a specific day. Imagine the chilling indifference of a king signing such a horrific decree, unaware of its full implications. Feel the cold grip of fear, the sense of utter helplessness that must have descended upon the Jewish communities. When Mordecai learned of this terrifying decree, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and cried out with a loud and bitter wail. He sent word to Queen Esther, urging her to go to the king and plead for her people. Esther, initially hesitant because approaching the king without being summoned carried the death penalty, was powerfully moved by Mordecai's challenge. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, and you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have not attained royalty for such a time as this?" These words, resonating through the ages, capture the profound sense of divine purpose behind Esther's unlikely position. Feel the weight of this calling, the quiet courage required to step into such a perilous role. Esther, after calling for a 3-day fast among all the Jews in Susa, resolved to act. "If I perish, I perish," she declared, a testament to her ultimate surrender to God's will. Imagine her quiet resolve, the silent prayers ascending from her and her people. With quiet courage, Esther approached the king's inner court, risking her life. The king extended his golden scepter, signifying her acceptance and granting her audience. This was the first step in a carefully orchestrated plan. She invited the king and Haman to 2 banquets, slowly and skillfully drawing Haman into her trap. Imagine the subtle tension, the hidden motive beneath the surface of apparent hospitality. Feel the quiet satisfaction of a well-laid plan beginning to unfold. At the second banquet, Esther revealed Haman's wicked plot to the king, exposing his intention to destroy her people and implicitly her own life. The king, realizing he had been duped, was filled with fury. Haman's treachery was exposed, and he was ultimately hanged on the very gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. Imagine the sudden turn of events, the swift reversal of fortune, the dramatic justice unfolding. Feel the profound relief, the quiet triumph of good over evil. With Haman gone, Esther and Mordecai received permission to issue a counter-decree. Since a king's edict could not be revoked, the new decree allowed the Jews throughout the empire to defend themselves against any who sought to attack them on the appointed day. When the day arrived, instead of being annihilated, the Jews defended themselves courageously, and their enemies were defeated. This day became the joyous festival of Purim, a celebration of deliverance and God's faithfulness. The story of Esther within the Persian Empire is a remarkable testament to how even in the highest places of power, often far from the traditional centers of faith, God quietly works his purposes. It highlights the courage of an individual, the quiet strength of faith, and the hidden ways in which destiny is shaped, often by those we least expect. Allow this narrative to gently remind you that even in the darkest hours, hope can emerge. From unexpected corners, guided by an unseen hand, are you ready to continue our journey as we bridge the gap between ancient prophecies and the most profound event in human history? Chapter 6. Whispers of the Star. Persia and the Messiah's dawn settle deeper into the soft cushions of your mind, letting any lingering thoughts dissipate like morning mist. Imagine the vast, silent stretches of the ancient Middle East, hundreds of years after the return from Babylonian exile, centuries after the Medo-Persian Empire had risen, flourished, and then, as Daniel's vision foretold, yielded its dominion to the Greeks, and subsequently to the Romans. Yet, even as empires shifted and new powers arose, the quiet echoes of Persia continued to resonate, particularly in a unique and profound way connected to the birth of Jesus. Can you feel the gentle pull of this enduring connection, stretching across time and empires? Consider the prophecy of Balaam, recorded in the book of Numbers, long before any of these empires even existed. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come forth from Jacob. A scepter shall rise from Israel. This ancient verse, a faint whisper from the distant past, spoke of a celestial sign accompanying the arrival of a great ruler from Israel. Imagine the quiet anticipation of generations who might have pondered these words, wondering about their ultimate fulfillment. No, Let your thoughts drift to a unique group of individuals known as the Magi. These were wise men, scholars, and astronomers deeply immersed in the study of the stars, dreams, and ancient texts. While their exact origin is debated, it is widely believed that these Magi came from the East, specifically from the lands of the former Medo-Persian Empire, modern-day Iran. Imagine their quiet observatories under the vast, unpolluted night, skies of ancient Persia, their eyes scanning the heavens for any sign, any anomaly. Feel the patient dedication, the scholarly pursuit of cosmic knowledge. Why would Magoi from Persia be particularly attuned to a star, signaling the birth of the Jewish Messiah? Here, the threads of our story intertwine beautifully. Recall our earlier journey with Daniel, who was not only a prophet, but also held a prominent position in the Babylonian and then the Persian courts. He was known for his wisdom, his ability to interpret dreams, and his profound knowledge of God's plans. It's highly probable that Daniel, during his long and influential tenure, would have shared his prophecies and insights with the wise men of the court. He might have established a school of prophetic study, or at the very least, imparted knowledge about the coming Messiah to those who served alongside him. Imagine Daniel, perhaps in his later years, quietly sharing the insights from his visions, with the Magi teaching them about the star from Jacob and the scepter from Israel. He would have revealed the prophecies concerning the Messiah's coming, a figure who would bring salvation not just to Israel, but to all nations. Feel the gentle transfer of knowledge across cultures and generations, a sacred trust passed down through time. And so, centuries later, as the time for the Messiah's birth drew near, these Magi from the East were uniquely positioned to recognize the celestial sign. When the extraordinary star appeared in the sky, they knew immediately its profound significance. It was not merely an astronomical phenomenon to them. It was the long-awaited signal, the fulfillment of prophecies they had perhaps learned from their ancient predecessors, dating back to Daniel himself. Imagine their quiet excitement, the profound sense of purpose as they prepared for an extraordinary journey. Picture their arduous journey, caravanning across vast deserts, enduring the elements, driven by an unshakable conviction. They carried precious gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, offerings fit for a king, and indeed, fit for the King of Kings. Their pursuit was not for political gain or earthly power, but for reverence and worship. Feel the quiet determination of their pilgrimage, their hearts filled with expectant awe. They arrived in Jerusalem, drawing immediate attention and stirring up the entire city. Their simple question, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east and have come to worship him," sent shockwaves through the court of King Herod. Imagine the confusion, the fear, and perhaps even the mockery they encountered from those who were oblivious to the profound significance of their quest. Feel the stark contrast between their quiet faith and the volatile political landscape of the time. Guided by the star, which miraculously reappeared and led them, they finally arrived in Bethlehem and found the young child Jesus with his mother, Mary. Their response was immediate and heartfelt. They bowed down and worshipped him, offering their precious gifts. Imagine the scene, the powerful, learned Magi from a distant land, kneeling before a humble infant, recognizing his divine majesty. Feel the profound humility, the universal reach of this moment, transcending culture and earthly status. This episode, the arrival of the Magi from the East, carries immense theological significance. It represents the first Gentile recognition and worship of Jesus as the Messiah. It symbolizes that Jesus came not just for the Jewish people, but for all nations. A universal Savior whose light would reach even the distant lands of Persia. The quiet, persistent legacy of Persian wisdom, perhaps subtly shaped by Daniel's influence, played a crucial role in bringing these first non-Jewish worshippers to the feet of the newborn king. Allow this beautiful, quiet narrative to wash over you, a soothing reminder that God's plans are vast and intricate, encompassing all peoples and spanning millennia. Even in the seemingly disparate corners of history, threads are woven together, leading to moments of profound revelation and universal significance. This ancient connection between Persia and the very dawn of Christianity offers a quiet sense of wonder, a testament to the interconnectedness of all things in the grand tapestry of divine providence. Are you ready to drift further towards a future that holds both shadows and glimmers of ancient prophecy, bringing us closer to our own time? Chapter 7. Shadows of the Future. Persia in the End Times. Gog and Magog settle deeper into the calm, allowing the intricate details of this ancient narrative to gently paint themselves in your mind. Imagine a time yet to come, a future that is both foretold and shrouded in a certain mystery, where nations align in ways that resonate with ancient warnings. Feel the subtle tremor of anticipation as we explore these powerful yet comforting prophecies. Our journey now takes us to the book of Ezekiel, a prophet who, like Daniel, ministered during the Babylonian exile. Ezekiel's visions are often dramatic and symbolic, and among his most compelling is the prophecy of Gog and Magog, found in chapters 38 and 39. This prophecy describes a massive coalition of nations that will gather in the latter years to attack the land of Israel, a nation regathered after a long dispersion. Can you sense the immense scale of this future conflict, the gathering of formidable forces? Listen closely to the roll call of nations that are part of this formidable alliance, for among them we find a familiar name: Persia, Cush, and Put with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer with all its troops, Beth Togarmah from the far north with all its troops, many peoples with you. Ezekiel 38 to 5-6. Here, Persia, the ancient land we have been exploring, the cradle of great empires, now known as Iran, is explicitly named as a key player in this end times coalition. Imagine the geographical sweep of these nations: Cush, modern-day Sudan, Ethiopia; Put, Libya; Gomer, parts of Turkey, Europe; and Beth Togarmah, Turkey. This is a broad, powerful alliance, primarily from the north and south of Israel, with Iran strategically positioned as a central force. Feel the chilling precision of this ancient naming, echoing into our modern era. The leader of this vast military force is identified as Gog from the land of Magog, while the exact identity of Gog and Magog has been a subject of much scholarly discussion. The prophecy is clear about the role of the participating nations. Iran, with its ancient history and enduring presence in the region, is designated as a significant component of this massive multinational assault on Israel. Can you sense the weight of this prophetic role, the implications for the nation known today as Iran? The prophecy describes the motivations of this invading force. They will come against a land that has been restored from the sword and gathered from many peoples on the mountains of Israel, which had been a continual waste. But its people were brought out from the nations, and all of them are living securely. Ezekiel 38-8. This paints a clear picture of modern Israel, a nation reestablished in its ancient land after centuries of dispersion, a beacon of prosperity and security in a tumultuous region. Imagine the contrast, the vulnerability of a seemingly secure nation surrounded by a hostile, powerful alliance. Feel the subtle tension of this impending confrontation. The purpose of this invasion is described as taking spoil and plunder. to lay a hand on the waste places which are now inhabited, and on the people who are gathered from the nations, who have acquired livestock and goods, who live at the center of the world. Ezekiel 38-12. This speaks to both the economic allure of Israel and its strategic geographical position, often referred to as the center of the world in ancient thought. But here is where the prophecy takes a dramatic and profoundly comforting turn. Just as this massive coalition, including Iran, prepares to descend upon Israel, something extraordinary happens. God himself intervenes. It will come about on that day, when Gog comes against the land of Israel, declares the Lord God, that my fury will mount up in my wrath. In my zeal and in my blazing wrath, I declare that on that day there will surely be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. I will call for a sword against him on all my mountains, declares the Lord God. Every man's sword will be against his brother. With pestilence and with blood, I will enter into judgment with him. And I will rain on him and on his troops, and on the many peoples who are with him, a torrential rain with hailstones, fire, and brimstone. Ezekiel 38-822. Imagine the sheer scale of this divine intervention. A colossal earthquake, mutual destruction within the invading ranks, and a devastating supernatural judgment from the heavens. It is a dramatic and overwhelming display of God's power, a clear and decisive defense of his people. Feel the quiet awe, the profound reassurance that despite the formidable nature of the prophetic adversaries, there is an even greater power at work. The ultimate outcome is unequivocally stated. Thus I will magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will make myself known in the eyes of many nations, and they will know that I am the Lord. Ezekiel 38-23. This cataclysmic event is not merely a war. It is a divine demonstration, a revelation of God's sovereignty to the entire world. The role of Iran as a participant in this coalition places it squarely within this powerful prophetic narrative, destined to witness and be a part of this ultimate display of divine authority. Allow these prophetic images to gently swirl in your mind, not with fear, but with a quiet sense of wonder at the vastness of God's plan and the precision of his word. It's a soothing thought, isn't it, to consider that even the most complex global alignments and conflicts are known and ultimately governed by a higher power, moving towards a divinely appointed conclusion. This understanding can bring a deep sense of peace, a quiet assurance in an uncertain world. Are you ready to journey further? To explore a surprising twist in the fate of this ancient land, even amidst these dramatic prophecies? Chapter 8. The Whisper of Redemption. A glimmer of hope for Elam settle deeper into the quietude, letting your breath flow with the gentle rhythm of the narrative. Imagine the vast tapestry of biblical prophecy, a masterpiece woven with threads of judgment and grace, destruction and restoration. While the vision of Gog and Magog presents a formidable and ultimately defeated Iran, there exists another, less frequently highlighted, prophecy that offers a profound glimpse into a different future for this ancient land. Can you feel the subtle shift in atmosphere, the quiet emergence of compassion in the divine plan? Our focus now turns to the prophet Jeremiah, a voice of lament and warning to Judah, who also spoke of the fates of surrounding nations. Among his pronouncements against various kingdoms, he delivers a specific word concerning Elam, the ancient progenitor of a significant part of what would become Persia, located in what is now southwestern Iran. Listen closely to the words recorded in Jeremiah 49-34-39. After a stern pronouncement of judgment against Elam, predicting that God would shatter Elam's bow, the source of their might, and bring 4 winds from the 4 ends of heaven upon them, scattering them among nations, the prophecy takes an unexpected turn. Imagine the weight of this initial judgment, the sense of inevitable downfall for a proud people. But then, the final verse of this passage offers a remarkable and profound promise. But it shall come to pass in the latter days that I will bring back the captives of Elam, declares the Lord. Can you hear the soft sigh of hope in these words? In the latter days, a phrase often associated with the end times, the very period in which Iran, Persia, is depicted as part of the Gog and Magog coalition, this prophecy speaks not of perpetual destruction, but of restoration and return. Imagine the quiet paradox, the seemingly conflicting narratives, yet both held within the vastness of divine purpose. Feel the gentle warmth of this promise, a testament to God's enduring mercy. What does it mean for God to bring back the captives of Elam in the latter days, especially when other prophecies speak of judgment upon Persia? This suggests that even within the broad strokes of end-time events, there is room for individual and national redemption. It implies that while a ruling power or a specific regime may be judged, the people of the land, the descendants of Elam, are not necessarily condemned to eternal separation from God's grace. Consider the depth of this divine mercy. Even for nations that, throughout history and into the prophetic future, stand in opposition or participate in schemes against God's people, there remains a pathway for restoration and drawing near to Him. It underscores a foundational principle of biblical truth. God's ultimate desire is not merely judgment, but reconciliation and redemption for all who would turn to Him. Allow that profound truth to settle in your heart, a soothing reassurance of God's boundless love. This prophecy for Elam stands as a powerful counterpoint, a quiet whisper of hope that reminds us of the complexity and nuance within God's prophetic word. It indicates that divine plans are not simplistic, black and white pronouncements of doom for entire peoples, but often contain layers of grace and opportunities for spiritual return. Imagine the quiet strength of such a message, offering light even in the shadow of impending judgment. Perhaps this bringing back refers to a spiritual restoration, a turning of hearts towards the one true God among the people of Iran. It may speak to a future awakening, a time when many within that land will recognize the truth and turn to faith in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Bible. Feel the quiet power of such a possibility, a spiritual revival transforming a nation. This particular prophecy also resonates with the historical presence of the Magi at the birth of Jesus, those wise men from Persia. Their journey to worship the Messiah could be seen as an early glimpse, a foretaste of this latter days restoration for the people of Elam, a quiet precedent for a future spiritual turning. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? How distant prophecies and historical events can subtly echo one another, revealing a consistent divine pattern of seeking and drawing people to Himself. The existence of this prophecy for Elam should temper any rigid interpretations of end-time events that might suggest a complete and utter condemnation of all peoples within a particular nation. Instead, it invites us to contemplate the vastness of God's compassion and His unfailing desire to offer salvation to all who would receive it, regardless of their historical or prophetic affiliations. Allow that sense of expansive grace to wash over you, a deeply comforting truth dot as we drift through these profound insights. Let the gentle understanding that emerges bring you a deep sense of peace. The future, though foretold in its grand outlines, also contains surprising elements of divine mercy and personal choice. Even in the midst of global conflicts and powerful prophecies, there is always room for individuals and nations to seek and find redemption. Are you ready to continue this reflective journey as we begin to bridge the gap between these ancient whispers and the very questions of our present day? Chapter 9. Echoes in the Present. Ancient prophecy meets modern realities. Settle deeper into the quietude, letting your breath flow with the steady rhythm of contemplation. Imagine a vast, intricate clockwork, each gear representing an empire, a prophet, a historical event. You've seen how these gears, though separated by centuries, are interconnected, turning in precise harmony. Now, consider how the silent ticking of this ancient mechanism might still be heard in the clamor of our modern world. Can you feel the subtle resonance, the quiet echo of the past informing the present? We have explored the historical and prophetic roles of Persia, now known as Iran. This is not merely an academic exercise, but an invitation to perceive the deeper patterns at play in global events. Think about the current geopolitical landscape. When you hear news reports about Iran, what thoughts come to mind? Perhaps images of nuclear ambitions, regional conflicts, or complex political dynamics. Now, allow the ancient layers of our story to gently overlay these modern perceptions. Recall the prophecy of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel, which explicitly names Persia, Iran, as a key participant in a future coalition that will come against Israel. Consider the current tensions in the Middle East, the ongoing geopolitical struggles, and the frequent headlines concerning Iran's relationships with its neighbors, and particularly with Israel. Can you feel the quiet, almost unsettling correspondence between ancient scripture and contemporary realities? It is a profound thought, isn't it, to consider that events playing out on our news screens today might be subtle, unfolding elements of prophecies spoken thousands of years ago. We are not suggesting a simplistic one-to-one mapping of every headline to a biblical verse. Rather, it is an invitation to view current affairs through a larger, more eternal lens, acknowledging that history is not a series of random occurrences, but often a purposeful progression. Allow that thought to settle gently, bringing a deeper dimension to your understanding of the world. Think about the consistent historical presence of Iran in the biblical narrative. From the early Elamites clashing with Abraham, to Cyrus the Great chosen by God to restore Jerusalem, to the wise Magi from the east seeking the Messiah, and finally, to its predicted role in the last days conflict. This is not a fleeting mention, but a sustained, significant presence. Feel the weight of this continuous thread, connecting past, present, and future, God. And then, remember the unexpected whisper of hope we uncovered in Jeremiah 49-39, the prophecy of God bringing back the captives of Elam in the latter days. This serves as a vital counterbalance, a reminder that even amidst the sternest warnings of judgment, there is always the potential for redemption and spiritual turning. It means that while political entities may be set against divine purposes, the hearts of individuals within those nations remain open to grace. Can you feel the gentle warmth of this possibility? A quiet hope for all peoples? This dual perspective, acknowledging the prophetic role in future conflict while simultaneously holding on to the promise of spiritual restoration, is crucial. It prevents us from falling into rigid interpretations that might condemn an entire nation or people group. Instead, it invites a posture of prayer and hopeful anticipation, recognizing that God's plans are always multifaceted, encompassing both justice and mercy. Allow that nuanced understanding to bring a deeper peace to your contemplation. Consider the role of faith in understanding these connections. For many, these ancient texts provide a framework, a sense of meaning and purpose in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. To see the echoes of prophecy in current events is not to induce fear, but rather to foster a quiet confidence in a God who is sovereign over all of history. It is a source of peace, knowing that there is an ultimate destination to humanity's journey, guided by an unfailing hand. Imagine the countless individuals in modern Iran, living their lives, perhaps unaware of these ancient prophecies, yet part of a story far grander than they know. Some may even be quietly seeking spiritual truth, drawn by an unseen force. The promise of Elam's restoration in the latter days suggests a movement of hearts, a turning towards the divine that transcends political boundaries and historical conflicts. Feel the quiet power of individual faith blossoming even in unexpected places. As you reflect on these deep connections, let the understanding settle in your soul that nothing is truly random in the grand scheme of things. The rise and fall of nations, the geopolitical shifts, the very headlines that capture our attention, all might be quiet movements within a larger, divinely orchestrated symphony. This perspective can bring a profound sense of calm, an assurance that there is a purpose, a plan, unfolding through all of time. Are you ready to continue this reflective journey as we delve deeper into the significance of personal choice and the enduring power of ancient wisdom in our own lives? Chapter 10. The Inner Compass. Finding Peace. In the prophetic stream, settle deeper into the tranquil silence that surrounds you, allowing your breath to become even softer, a gentle wave upon a quiet shore. Imagine the immense tapestry of time, woven with threads of every human life, every empire, every whispered prayer. We have followed one particular thread, the persistent and often surprising story of Persia, now Iran, through this vast fabric. But what, you might softly ask, does this ancient narrative, these prophecies of distant lands and future conflicts, truly offer to your quiet heart tonight? Can you feel the gentle invitation to personal reflection? The sense that this story is also, in some profound way, about you? In a world that often feels fractured and uncertain, where information floods our senses and anxieties can gather like shadows, there is a profound comfort to be found in the enduring power of prophecy. It is not meant to incite fear or to stir a restless urgency, but rather to offer a deep, abiding sense of peace. Think of it as a vast, celestial map unfolding slowly, revealing that there is indeed a destination to humanity's journey, and a wise hand guiding its course. Feel the quiet assurance that comes from knowing there is a purpose, a design, even in the midst of seeming chaos. Consider the intricate details we'd explored. The naming of Cyrus centuries before his birth, the specific details of the Medo-Persian bear and ram in Daniel's visions, the explicit mention of Persia in Ezekiel's end-time prophecies, and the tender promise of Elam's latter-day restoration in Jeremiah. These are not mere coincidences or vague pronouncements. They are precise, historical, and deeply meaningful connections that stretch across millennia. Imagine the meticulous care in such a divine design, each piece fitting perfectly into place. Feel the quiet awe at such foresight, a testament to a wisdom far beyond our own. This precision, this accuracy, provides an inner compass for the seeking soul. When we observe events unfolding in the world today, events that seem to mirror these ancient whispers, it is not a call to alarm, but a quiet affirmation. It is a gentle nudge to remember that the God who spoke through his prophets long ago is still active, still sovereign, still overseeing the grand narrative of human history. Allow that thought to settle within you, a soothing balm for any disquietude. The very existence of these prophecies invites a different way of seeing the world. Instead of being swept away by every crisis or consumed by every passing trend, we are encouraged to cultivate a long-term perspective. We are invited to see beyond the immediate, to recognize that the present moment is but one brushstroke in a much larger, more magnificent painting. Imagine gaining that panoramic view, allowing the vastness of time and purpose to bring clarity and stillness to your mind. Feel the calming effect of this profound perspective, drawing your spirit into a deeper, more enduring peace. What does it mean for you to find peace in this prophetic stream? It means trusting that there is a higher purpose at play, even when circumstances seem chaotic or inexplicable. It means understanding that while human actions and choices are vital, there is an overarching divine will that will ultimately prevail. It is the gentle assurance that no matter how turbulent the waters may become, the ship of history is still being steered towards its ultimate harbor. Allow that sense of unshakable control to ease any burdens you might be carrying. This understanding does not diminish the importance of our individual lives or our daily choices. On the contrary, it imbues them with a deeper meaning. If we are indeed living in times that resonate with ancient prophecies, then each day, each interaction, each decision takes on a subtle, sacred significance. We become participants, however small, in a grand unfolding narrative. Imagine your own life as a single, unique thread woven into this vast and beautiful tapestry. Feel the quiet dignity of your own place within this timeless story. The ASMR quality of these ancient whispers lies in their ability to bypass the clamor of the analytical mind and speak directly to the soul. They invite a deeper intuition, a quiet contemplation that transcends mere intellectual understanding. They are like soft currents guiding you towards a restful shore of spiritual insight. Listen for that gentle murmur within you, the knowing that comes not from striving, but from simply being present to the ancient truths. So, as you drift further into relaxation, let the story of Persia and its prophetic journey become a gentle reminder of the enduring nature of divine purpose. Let it be a source of quiet wonder, a testament to a God who cares enough to reveal glimpses of the future, not to frighten, but to guide, to comfort, and to invite us into a deeper relationship with Him. The intricate dance of nations, the rise and fall of empires, the subtle unfolding of destiny. All these are part of a grand design, offering profound peace to those who pause and listen to its ancient rhythm. Are you ready to continue this reflective journey as we explore the deeper comfort found in the consistency of ancient wisdom? Chapter 11. Threads of Constancy. The enduring nature of divine purpose. Settle even more deeply into your tranquility, allowing your breath to become an almost imperceptible whisper. Imagine a vast, luminous river flowing continuously from the distant past, through the present, and onward into the furthest reaches of time. This river is the consistent flow of divine purpose, a current that carries all of history within its gentle embrace. We have traced a particular tributary, the story of Persia, through various landscapes of time, and in doing so, we begin to perceive the unwavering nature of this larger, magnificent river. Can you feel the smooth, unceasing flow, bringing with it a profound sense of stability? Think back to the earliest mentions of the ancestors of Persia, Elam and Madai. Even in those nascent stages of nations, we observed a divine oversight, a subtle connection to the unfolding story of Abraham. Then, consider the astonishing foresight of Isaiah, naming Cyrus centuries before his birth, designating him as God's chosen shepherd to restore his people. This was not a sudden, impulsive decision by the divine, but a carefully planned appointment revealed long in advance. Imagine the meticulousness of such a plan, unfolding with quiet precision across the centuries. Feel the gentle reassurance that such deliberate care implies. And then, reflect on Daniel's visions, the precise symbolic depictions of the Medo-Persian Empire and its subsequent demise at the hands of Greece. These were not vague predictions, but detailed prefigurations of historical events. The very existence of such specific prophecies, fulfilled to the letter, speaks volumes about the consistency of the divine word. It demonstrates that what God reveals, he also brings to pass, with unfailing accuracy. Allow that thought to settle deeply within you, a quiet anchor for your spirit in a world of constant change. Now, hold in your mind the dramatic account of Queen Esther, a Jewish orphan strategically placed in the Persian court to preserve her people from annihilation. This was a narrative replete with human intrigue, powerful arrogance, and desperate courage. Yet, beneath the surface of these human machinations, we sensed an invisible hand, gently orchestrating events, ensuring that God's people would endure. It wasn't a sudden, miraculous intervention that bypassed human agency, but rather a subtle guidance, using ordinary people in extraordinary ways. Feel the quiet wonder of this unseen hand, weaving destiny through the fabric of everyday life. Consider also the Magi from the east, those wise men from Persia, drawn by a celestial sign to worship the newborn Messiah. Their journey was a profound testament to the universal reach of God's plan, a quiet echo of the light of truth extending beyond the borders of Israel. It showed that even in lands considered foreign or pagan, there were hearts prepared to recognize and respond to divine revelation. This continuity, from ancient prophecies to the welcoming of the Savior by distant peoples, speaks to an unchanging divine heart, perpetually reaching out. Feel the gentle warmth of this inclusive love, embracing all corners of the earth. Finally, contemplate the seemingly disparate prophecies concerning Iran in the last days, its role in the Gog and Magog coalition, yet simultaneously the promise of Elam's restoration. This might seem contradictory at first glance, but in fact, it speaks to a profound consistency in divine character, justice, and mercy. God is just in his judgments against rebellion and opposition, yet he is also merciful and redemptive, always, offering a path to restoration for those who seek it. This dual aspect is not a contradiction, but a demonstration of the fullness of his nature. Allow this rich understanding to deepen your sense of peace, knowing that divine character is multifaceted and eternally consistent. The threads of constancy woven through all these narratives are unmistakable. First, God's sovereignty over nations. Empires rise and fall, not by mere chance, but according to his ultimate plan. This brings a profound sense of security. Second, God's faithfulness to his promises. What he says, he does, whether it's through unlikely kings or through celestial signs. This builds unshakable trust. Third, God's enduring care for his people. He protects, preserves, and restores them, even in the most perilous times. This provides immeasurable comfort. And fourth, God's universal heart for all humanity. His plan extends beyond one nation, offering salvation and spiritual restoration to all who respond to his call, even in unexpected places like Elam. This offers boundless hope. As you allow these threads of constancy to gently weave themselves into your consciousness. Feel the immense peace that comes from this deep understanding. It is a peace that transcends the shifting sands of global events, the fleeting nature of human ambitions, and the uncertainties of daily life. It is the quiet reassurance that there is a timeless, unwavering purpose behind all that exists. A divine narrative that is always moving towards its grand and glorious conclusion. This consistent rhythm, this steady beat of divine purpose throughout history, can be like a gentle lullaby for your soul. It reminds you that you are not adrift in a meaningless universe, but part of a magnificent, unfolding story, guided by a faithful and loving hand. Are you ready to continue this journey as we begin to reflect on how these ancient truths can empower your own quiet living. Chapter 12. The Personal Resonance. Ancient wisdom in your quiet life. Settle even more profoundly into the stillness, allowing the gentle breath to flow effortlessly, like a tranquil stream. Imagine the vast, intricate web of existence, each strand a life, a moment, a thought. You are a unique thread in this magnificent design, and the very wisdom we have gently unveiled, spanning millennia and touching distant lands, is meant to resonate within the quiet chambers of your own heart. Can you feel the subtle hum of connection? The sense that this grand narrative holds personal significance for you? What does it mean to connect the story of ancient Persia, its prophecies, and its unexpected roles, to your everyday quiet life? It means that you are invited to see beyond the immediate, the mundane, the passing anxieties of the day. It is an invitation to cultivate a deep awareness that your life, too, is woven into a larger, more eternal tapestry. Every choice you make, every kindness you extend, every moment of quiet reflection holds a subtle, yet profound, place in the grand unfolding of purpose. Feel the quiet dignity of your own existence, infused with deeper meaning. Consider the notion of divine timing. We saw how Cyrus was named centuries before his birth, how Esther was for such a time as this, and how the Magi appeared precisely when the star of Bethlehem shone brightest. These examples whisper a comforting truth. There is an appointed time for all things. In your own life, when you face moments of waiting, of uncertainty, or even of quiet struggle, this ancient wisdom reminds you that there is a perfect timing for every season. It encourages patience, a gentle surrender to a rhythm that is often beyond our immediate comprehension. Allow that sense of trust to settle within you, easing any subtle impatience or frustration. The prophetic narrative also teaches us about resilience and hope. The Jewish people, exiled in Babylon, faced utter despair, yet they clung to the prophetic promise of return. They endured, and eventually, the unlikely hand of a Persian king brought about their restoration. In your own quiet challenges, big or small, this story offers a gentle reminder that even in seemingly impossible situations, hope can arise from unexpected corners. It nurtures a resilient spirit, a quiet determination to persist, knowing that deliverance often comes in ways we cannot foresee. Feel the quiet strength blossoming within you, fed by the enduring power of hope. Furthermore, the story of the Magi from Persia, traveling across vast distances guided by a star, speaks to the profound journey of seeking and finding. They followed an inner conviction, an ancient whisper, and were led to the very presence of the divine. In your own spiritual journey, this narrative encourages a quiet pursuit of truth, an openness to signs and promptings that may come in unexpected forms. It reminds you that the seeker is always met, that genuine inquiry leads to profound discovery. Imagine your own path illuminated by a gentle light, guiding you forward. Feel the quiet joy of discovery, the deep satisfaction of spiritual connection. The subtle, ASMR quality of these profound truths lies in their ability to bypass the noise of the conscious mind and touch the deeper layers of your being. They are not truths to be wrestled with, but to be absorbed, to be felt, to be allowed to permeate your spirit. They are like a calming presence, gently settling your thoughts and bringing a sense of order to your inner world. Listen closely to that internal resonance, the harmonious chord struck by ancient wisdom. Imagine that you are a part of this unfolding narrative, not just as an observer, but as a living, breathing participant. Your quiet acts of kindness, your moments of compassion, your pursuit of truth, these are all tiny, yet significant, brushstrokes in the grand masterpiece of divine purpose. You are not insignificant. You are deeply valued, and your life, however seemingly small in the vastness of the universe, holds a unique and beautiful place. Allow that sense of profound worth to fill you, a gentle warmth spreading through your entire being. This journey through Persia's prophetic story is an invitation to cultivate a deeper sense of presence in your own life. It encourages you to slow down, to observe, to listen for the whispers of providence in the everyday. It is about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, the eternal in the temporal. It transforms a simple moment of reflection into a profound connection with timeless truths. Feel the quiet blessing of this deepened awareness, enriching every aspect of your life. As you continue to drift in this tranquil state, let the echoes of ancient wisdom settle gently within your heart. They are not distant tales, but living truths, ready to empower your quiet life with peace, purpose, and an unshakable sense of belonging within the grand design of the universe. Are you ready to continue our journey as we begin to reflect on the nature of prophecy itself and how it unfolds in mysterious ways? Chapter 13. The Gentle Unveiling, the Mystery and Manner of Prophetic Fulfillment. Settle even more deeply into the serene quietude, letting your breath become a soft, almost imperceptible rhythm, like the quiet turning of pages in an ancient book. Imagine prophecy not as a sudden, blinding flash, but as a slow, gentle unveiling, a gradual lifting of veils over time. The story of Persia in the biblical narrative offers us profound lessons in how these divine foretellings quietly manifest, often blending seamlessly into the ebb and flow of human history. Can you feel the subtle unfolding, the quiet revelation of truths that have been hidden until their appointed time? Consider the sheer breadth of the prophecies we've explored regarding Persia. From the earliest mentions of Elam and Madai as progenitors, centuries before a unified Persian empire existed, to the explicit naming of Cyrus more than 100 years before his birth, these were not events that screamed for immediate attention upon their utterance. They were subtle seeds planted in the ground of time, waiting for the perfect conditions to sprout and blossom. Imagine the patience inherent in such a divine process, the quiet confidence that the harvest will come in its season. Feel the gentle patience that this perspective can cultivate within you. The manner of their fulfillment is equally intriguing. Cyrus's decree, allowing the Jewish exiles to return and rebuild, was not forced upon him by overt divine intervention that shattered his free will. Rather, it was a decision made by a powerful king, perhaps influenced by his own philosophies, his political calculations, or even by the ancient scrolls brought to his attention, as some traditions suggest Daniel himself might have shown him the prophecies about his own life. This highlights a crucial aspect of prophecy. It often works through human choices and circumstances, rather than overriding them. Feel the quiet dance between divine sovereignty and human agency, a mysterious and beautiful balance. Think also of Queen Esther. Her courage was essential, her strategic actions pivotal. Yet her placement in the royal court, her finding favor with the king, the timing of Haman's plot, these were all elements that, from a human perspective, might seem like coincidences. From a prophetic perspective, however, they were part of a meticulous arrangement, a subtle orchestration that allowed Esther's free and brave choice to become the instrument of her people's deliverance. Imagine the intricate weaving of these threads, the quiet perfection of the divine loom. Feel the subtle comfort that comes from discerning such thoughtful design. And Magi, those wise men from Persia, followed a star. It was not a thunderous voice from the heavens, but a celestial sign, a quiet beacon. Their journey was one of scholarly observation and heartfelt seeking, a response to a gentle yet profound cosmic invitation. This demonstrates that prophetic truth often calls for a discerning eye and a listening ear, a willingness to observe the subtle signs rather than waiting for overt miracles. It invites a quiet attentiveness to the world around us and to the stirrings within our own spirits. Allow that sense of gentle inquiry to deepen your understanding. And in the last days, prophecies of Gog and Magog. While the intervention is dramatic and powerful, it is still the culmination of a sequence of events, a gathering of nations that forms a coalition. It suggests a process, an unfolding that leads to a climactic moment, rather than an abrupt, unforeseen eruption. Even the most powerful divine acts are often preceded by periods of gentle, gradual preparation. Feel the subtle tension of this quiet anticipation, knowing that even grand finales follow a deliberate path. The mystery in the manner of prophetic fulfillment lies precisely in its seamless integration into the natural course of history and human experience. It rarely appears as a sudden, jarring disruption, but more often as a quiet current, subtly redirecting events, working behind the scenes, shaping destinies through choices both grand and small. This mystery is not meant to confuse, but to deepen our awe and wonder at the intricate workings of a timeless mind. Imagine the universe as a vast, living puzzle, where each piece, however seemingly insignificant, clicks perfectly into place at its appointed time. This gentle unveiling encourages a posture of humble observation rather than anxious speculation. It teaches us to look for the subtle confirmations, the quiet echoes of ancient truth in the present moment, rather than demanding dramatic proofs. It reminds us that divine wisdom operates on a scale far beyond our limited perception, and that patience is a virtue in understanding its unfolding. Allow that calm acceptance to wash over you, bringing a profound sense of inner peace. As you drift in this tranquil state, let the quiet mystery of prophetic fulfillment become a source of soothing wonder. It is a reminder that there is a deep, underlying order to all things, a divine narrative that unfolds with grace and precision, often in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. This understanding is a gentle balm for the restless mind, inviting a deeper trust in the unseen hand that guides all. Are you ready to continue our journey as we ponder the enduring relevance of these ancient narratives for humanity's future? Chapter 14. The Enduring Narrative, Timeless Lessons for Humanity's Journey. Settle even more deeply into your tranquil space, allowing your breath to become a barely audible whisper, like the rustling of ancient scrolls in a forgotten chamber. Imagine the vast, interconnected story of all humankind, a grand epic unfolding across the stage of history. The narrative of Persia, woven so intricately into the biblical account, is not merely a historical footnote, nor is it a curiosity confined to ancient texts. Rather, it is a living, breathing testament, offering timeless lessons that continue to illuminate humanity's journey, guiding our understanding of nations, power, and ultimate purpose. Can you feel the quiet wisdom emanating from these ancient tales, softly touching the core of your being? Think back to the recurring themes we've gently explored: the ebb and flow of empires, the rise of one power, the decline of another. From the early Elamites, through the glorious reign of Cyrus, to the prophetic insights of Daniel and Ezekiel, the story of Persia constantly reminds us of the transient nature of earthly power. Even the mightiest kingdoms, built on immense wealth and military prowess, are ultimately temporal. They rise, they flourish, and they eventually yield to the inexorable flow of time and the larger divine plan. Imagine the grand palaces crumbling to dust, the formidable armies fading into memory. Feel the quiet humility that this perspective can instill, freeing you from the grip of fleeting anxieties. Yet, Intertwined with this transience is the profound constancy of divine sovereignty. We have seen, time and again, how a higher hand subtly guides the destinies of nations. Whether through a pagan king like Cyrus, a courageous queen like Esther, or the precise timing of a guiding star, God's purposes are enacted, often through unexpected instruments and in surprising ways. This underscores a powerful and deeply comforting truth. There is an ultimate authority, a supreme intelligence that oversees the grand drama of history. Allow that sense of unshakable control to bring a deep and pervasive peace to your soul, knowing that all things are held within a loving, purposeful embrace. The story of Persia also highlights the eternal interplay between human ambition and divine will. Kings and empires pursue their own agendas, driven by power, conquest, or pride. Yet even their most ambitious plans can be subtly redirected to serve a higher purpose, fulfilling ancient prophecies they were entirely unaware of. This is not a message of fatalism, but of reassurance. It suggests that even in a world where human choices sometimes lead to conflict and suffering, there is a benevolent hand working behind the scenes, weaving all things into a tapestry of ultimate good. Imagine the silent conversations between the human heart and the divine whisper, shaping destinies in unseen ways. Feel the quiet hope that this profound interplay offers. Furthermore, the narrative of Persia, with its connections to the restoration of Israel and the first Gentile worshippers of Jesus, embodies the universal scope of God's plan. It is not a story confined to one people or one region, but a testament to a divine love that extends to all nations, to every soul. The inclusion of Persia in these pivotal moments, and even its promised future restoration, speaks to a boundless grace that transcends cultural, ethnic, and even geopolitical divides. It invites us to see all of humanity as part of a single, grand story of redemption and reconciliation. Allow that expansive sense of love to wash over you, a gentle balm for any lingering sense of isolation or division. These ancient whispers about Persia are not merely historical records. They are living insights that continue to speak to our world today. They invite us to look at current events, not with fear or despair, but with a discerning eye, seeking the echoes of timeless truth. When we see nations rising or falling, alliances forming or dissolving, we can remember the consistent rhythm of divine purpose flowing through it all. This perspective offers a profound grounding, a quiet resilience in the face of rapid change. Imagine standing on firm ground while the winds of change blow around you, knowing you are rooted in something eternal. Feel the quiet strength that this unwavering truth imparts. The mystery that still shrouds some aspects of these prophecies, particularly those concerning the future, is not meant to create anxiety. Instead, it invites a posture of trust and patient observation. It encourages us to lean into the unknown with quiet faith, confident that the same God who faithfully fulfilled prophecies in the past will bring all his purposes to their perfect completion. This gentle unfolding, this continuous revelation, is an ongoing invitation to journey deeper into the heart of divine wisdom. As you drift now, deeply relaxed and at peace, let the enduring narrative of Persia become a gentle reminder that you are part of a story far grander than any single moment or human lifetime. It is a story of divine faithfulness, of sovereign purpose, and of an ultimate hope that encompasses all creation. This understanding can bring an immeasurable sense of calm, a quiet assurance that, even amidst the most profound transformations of history, there is an unwavering light guiding the path forward. Are you ready to journey to our final destination, where we will gently bring these threads together and contemplate the most immediate questions? these ancient whispers pose for our present world? Chapter 15. The Unfolding Present. Iran, Prophecy. And your quiet reflection settle into the deepest peace you can find, allowing your breath to become as light and fleeting as a dream's last sigh. Imagine standing on a gentle hill, looking out over a vast landscape where the distant past meets the unfolding present. We have journeyed through the shadowy origins of Elam, felt the awe-inspiring power of Cyrus the Great, witnessed the courageous heart of Queen Esther, and perceived the guiding star that led the wise Magi from Persian lands to the dawn of a new age. We have also peered into the future, discerning the ancient prophecies that speak of Persia's role in the profound, concluding chapters of global history. Can you feel the weight of this entire narrative now, settling softly upon your understanding? This long, quiet exploration has been more than a mere recounting of historical facts or prophetic texts. It has been an invitation, a gentle beckoning, to perceive the subtle underlying order in a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable. It is a testament to the idea that there is a grand design, a divine narrative unfolding through all of time, and even a nation as ancient and complex as Persia, now Iran, holds a significant foretold place within that eternal story. Imagine the intricate workings of this cosmic clock, each tick and tock representing a moment, an event, a nation. Feel the deep calm that comes from sensing such profound purpose. We have seen the consistency of the divine hand, meticulously, naming a king centuries before his birth, orchestrating deliverance through a queen, guiding wise men by a star, and revealing the alliances of the distant future. These are not isolated incidents, but interconnected moments, forming a continuous stream of divine revelation and intervention. This continuity serves as a profound comfort, a quiet reassurance that the same power and wisdom that guided the past are still actively at work in the present. Allow that thought to fully permeate your being, bringing an unshakable sense of peace. And so, as we gently turn our gaze to the present moment, to the nation known today as Iran, the question naturally, softly arises: is Iran, in its contemporary form, actively fulfilling its prophetic role? This is not a question to be answered with hasty certainty, nor is it a call for rigid pronouncements. Rather, it is an invitation for deep, quiet reflection, for an honest and open contemplation of the world around us through the lens of these ancient whispers. Consider the geopolitical landscape. Recall the prophetic description of Persia, Iran, as a key participant in the Gog and Magog coalition, aligning with other nations against Israel in the latter days. As you observe current events, the shifting alliances, the regional tensions, the pronouncements from various world leaders, do you perceive echoes of these ancient prophecies? Do the relationships between nations, particularly concerning Israel, seem to resonate with the foretold alignments? This is not about predicting a precise timeline, but about discerning patterns, recognizing the quiet reverberations of ancient texts in modern headlines. Imagine the delicate interplay of these forces, the subtle dance between ancient foretelling and contemporary reality. Feel the gentle nudge to look beyond the surface, to perceive the deeper currents at play. Yet, as we softly ask this question, let us also remember the profound counterpoint, the whisper of grace we found in Jeremiah, the promise of God bringing back the captives of Elam in the latter days. This prophetic thread reminds us that even amidst foretold conflicts and judgments against geopolitical entities, there is always room for spiritual redemption and restoration for the people. It cautions against broad condemnations and encourages a heart of compassion and hope. It suggests that within the very nation that may be identified in end-time prophecies, there could also be a quiet, powerful movement of individual hearts turning towards the divine. Imagine the silent yearning for truth in countless souls, quietly seeking light in unexpected places. Feel the tender warmth of this universal hope, a promise that transcends all boundaries. So, as you rest in this peaceful space, reflect on the remarkable journey we have shared tonight. From the dust of ancient Persia to the headlines of today, we have witnessed a continuous, unbroken narrative of divine purpose. The story of Iran in the Bible is a profound tapestry of judgment and grace, of human will and divine sovereignty, of ancient whispers and modern echoes. It invites us to live with a heightened awareness, a quiet discernment, acknowledging that we are part of a grander story, one meticulously penned by a timeless author. This understanding is not meant to create anxiety, but a deep, abiding peace. It is the peace that comes from knowing that there is an ultimate destination, a guiding hand, and a profound purpose behind all that unfolds. It is the peace of knowing that even when the world seems to churn with uncertainty, there is a bedrock of truth that remains steadfast, unmoved by the tides of time. As you drift now, enveloped in this serene knowledge, allow these thoughts to gently settle within you. If this journey into ancient wisdom and its modern echoes has resonated with your spirit, if it has brought you a moment of peace or a deeper understanding, I invite you to consider continuing this shared discovery. The world is full of ancient whispers waiting to be heard, and many more profound connections to be explored. If you wish to remain connected to these soothing explorations, to delve deeper into the quiet mysteries of time and prophecy, please consider a gentle gesture. You might subscribe to this channel, allowing these peaceful narratives to find their way to you again. And if any of these thoughts have stirred a quiet reflection within you, please feel free to share your comments below. Your gentle insights enrich this shared journey, adding your unique thread to the tapestry of our collective understanding. Now, let the journey's end bring you profound rest. May your dreams be filled with peace, and your waking moments with the quiet wisdom of timeless truth. Sleep soundly, knowing that you are held within a story far grander than words can fully capture. Good night.